Officials in the intelligence community have actually been untruthful, both to the American public in hearings in Congress and to the FISA court.
There have been cases where they have inadvertently made false representations, and they themselves have discovered it and corrected it.
That was National Security Advisor Susan Rice arguing this weekend that NSA officials did not lie about collecting data on hundreds of millions of Americans. That question came after a group of lawmakers last week suggested that Congress pursue criminal charges against Intel Director James Clapper because of the moment last summer when Clapper was asked this question.
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
Not wittingly, inadvertently, perhaps collect. That statement turned out to be not true. And tonight, several members of Congress are demanding some accountability. One of them is Congressman Trent Franks. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee. Congressman, welcome. It's good to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Martha. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, sir. What does that exchange that we just played tell you?
Well, Martha, I guess if I, in this season of goodwill, would extend my best analysis or my kindest analysis, it would have to be that if the Director of National Intelligence is so out of touch or incompetent that he doesn't know about a major NSA intelligence gathering or data gathering system taking place on the American people, then I'm not sure that that encourages me much, but I find it particularly disturbing that Susan Rice would be his principal defender, given the fact that the main thing that she is famous for is blatantly deceiving Congress and the American public regarding how the Benghazi tragedy was catalyzed, saying that it was somehow connected to a video, and they knew at the time that wasn't true. So it's a difficult time for the administration to explain these kind of things, to say the least.
Well, that statement last summer, which was an answer to a question by Ron Wyden, Senator Ron Wyden, it came 3 months before Edward Snowden's revelations started to pour forth. And then Director Clapper was put in the uncomfortable situation of having to come forward and saying, well, it was the least untruthful statement that I could come up with at that moment. Basically, I wasn't in a position to divulge what I knew, but it was the least untruthful statement that I could say at that moment. And it begs the question, which I would imagine is on your mind as well. Why didn't he just say, I can discuss that with you, outside of this public forum, but I can't answer that question right now?
Well, I serve on the Strategic Forces Committee, which is probably over half of our committee hearings are classified. And that's exactly what we do all the time. When generals or others that have critically important information, they just simply say we will have to discuss that in a classified setting, which we have SCIF settings to do that. But I'm concerned because this is also the same Director of National Intelligence that told us some few years back that that the Muslim Brotherhood was largely a homogeneous, largely secular group that eschewed violence. And of course, they went on to gain control of Egypt and put the entire nation in flames, and thousands of people died. So these are not small issues. That's just one of a list
that people have noticed over the course of Director Clapper's tenure. He also told Diane Sawyer back in 2010 that he wasn't aware of a roundup of terrorists in London that was really on the front pages of all the newspapers at the time. He also said that he thought Russia and China presented the greatest threat to the United States, raising a lot of questions about where he might place Iran on that list. Is it the cumulative effect that concerns all of you, or is it really down to this NSA issue and a belief that he may have misled or lied in that testimony?
Well, I think one of the greatest things that concern me most is the fact that this administration, as a general rule, seems to default towards deceiving the Congress. I mean, you don't have to look just to General Clapper here. You look at our Attorney General, you look at Susan Rice, you look at the President himself, and it seems like it's becoming more surprising to get a truthful unsallied answer than it is to hear further deception. I have to say, you know, this administration seems to have done for deception what Stonehenge has done for rocks. I mean, it's really becoming something that's quite serious for Congress, because it undermines not only our ability to do the constitutional duty that we have, but it undermines the faith in government to a tremendous extent. It's not a small issue, Martha.
Understood. And you are part of several senators that are pursuing this criminal inquiry against the Director of National Intelligence, and we'll see where it goes. Congressman Franks, thank you very much. Good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.